Hello and welcome to Girl Tries Games. For this Let's Try, we'll be playing Syberia. Now, I know next to nothing about this game. I got it in the Steam summer sale for like $1 for the 2 games. So I just chose it because I know that it's an adventure game and a point-and-click game, and I always have fun with those, so I decided to give it a shot. Now, I did start playing the game for maybe about an hour or two before I decided to record this for a Let's Try. So I will say the beginning is not going to be blind, and I'll do it more of like a walkthrough style. But after that, I'll let you know when the point is where I don't know what's going on. That'll definitely be blind. So yeah, let's give it a shot with a new game. Syberia. So this is kind of an older game, so the graphics aren't necessarily going to be the best. I think it's from about 2002, but I still think it's pretty good. So here's a creepy mechanical man driving a carriage, one drumming. How does he not fall over? I don't know about you, but I think it's kind of creepy. They're pretty advanced robots. They can close gates, march in a procession, drum, drive a carriage. It's pretty impressive to me. And that's us. In our fancy white coat. And we're greeted by another mechanical man. Are there any real people in this town? Okay, so as you can see, when we hover our mouse over different things, the cursor changes. So that tells us the things we can interact with. Like this is a little half magnifying glass, I guess. I'm not sure what it actually is supposed to be, but that's what I'll call it. Let's see what that does.
I really don't have the strength to take this suitcase any further. I wonder who can help me.
Oh, woe is me. Alright, let's see what this is. Alright, it's a pamphlet for the city we're in, Valadilene. Welcome to Valadilene, the world capital of mechanical toys. Let yourself be transported by the magnificent landscape surrounding Valadilene, a small charming town tucked away in the Alps, and by Voralberg Manufacturing, whose exceptional savoir-faire in the specialized world of luxury mechanical toys and automatons is at the root of Valadilene's reputation around the world. For 800 years, the Voralberg family has passed its knowledge from generation to generation, perfecting the art of that particular branch of clockmaking that breathes life into the complex network of cogs and spindles that make up automatons. Its creative wonders once defied belief and drew the admiration of young and old alike. People would come from across Europe for a chance to vie for the right to own one of these fantastic toys. At the heart of a mechanical automaton is its motor. A series of spindles are set in motion to music via a set of cogs. Attached to the spindles are cams that are shaped in the image of the music. In turn, they command a series of rods which control the gestures of the toy at their tips. Automaton construction takes place in 3 stages: modeling, mechanics, and casing. The process requires the participation of 20 different specialized trades. Excuse me. Sorry. The process requires the participation of 20 different specialized trades. In its heyday, the Voralberg factory employed over 100 craftsmen, mechanics, watchmakers, sculptors, tailors, and dressmakers, working in separate workshops. Voralberg automatons all have two distinguishing features in common: their high-precision mechanisms and the characteristic Voralberg wind-up key, which you can see in the picture here. Devising and assembling each model is a meticulous process. Standard toys are constructed from local wood, while the most sophisticated ones use more precious resources such as ebony imported from Madagascar. Despite competition from Asia, the Voralbergs never gave in to the temptation to produce electrical robots and chose to continue their exploration of the mysteries of perpetual mechanical motion. The Voralbergs have come a long way from their simple jointed puppets of yesteryear. Today, their creations are so lifelike, one has the impression that they can think for themselves. The first signs of puppet manufacture in Valadilene go back to the 13th century. While there was maybe no definite puppet industry at the time, Hermann Voralberg's renown was recognized even in the court of the emperor. So the Voralberg family goes all the way back to the 13th century with puppet making. It was not until the 17th century that Charles Voralberg founded the Voralberg Mechanical Toy and Puppet Factory. An industrial activity in the valley really took off. The reputation of Valadilene and its famous toys then just kept growing and growing. So there's a picture of Charles Voralberg with one of his puppets. The turn of the 20th century was Valadilene's golden age, as expressed in the factory's impressive architecture and the main houses of the town. The Voralberg reputation crossed the oceans, dispatching its fine precision mechanisms across the globe to delighted buyers who began to believe that Voralberg automatons had a life of their own. Since the end of the Second World War, the destiny of the factory has been in the hands of Rudolf's daughter, Anna Voralberg, the last and sole descendant of the prestigious line of craftsmen. This inspiring figure negotiated the business through the end of the war. She breathed new life into the production by creating works of art to appeal to experts and enthusiasts alike. Voralberg automatons became rare collector's items with highly innovative mechanisms of unequaled ingeniousness even to this day. So, we know that Valadilene, the city that we're visiting, pretty much revolves around the Voralberg mechanical toy factory that's here in town, creating clockwork robots basically, but not electric. So they all run off cogs and spindles. Alright. Let's see what else is here. So you could see we can go upstairs because the cursor glows. We can inspect the desk, or we can go over here because the cursor glows over here. So let's go over here first. And there's a little boy in the corner, and we can talk to him.
Hi there. Hey, hi there. What are you doing? Can I see?
No, too difficult. Momo's work very difficult.
Alright, let's introduce ourselves.
So, your name's Momo. I'm Kate.
Momo do like Hans. He draw.
Hans?
Don't disturb Momo. Momo work difficult.
Will you show me your drawing?
No, not finished. Go away.
He just pushed her. Let's ask him for some help.
I've just arrived. My case is a little heavy. Can you help me take it up to the room?
Momo's strong. Very strong. But no time. Momo very busy.
Alright, he doesn't seem to want to talk.
I guess I'll let you continue working.
Alright, so let's head back over here. And let's blah blah blah. Sorry, I can't speak. Let's inspect. Ooh, sorry. That was probably really loud. My mic fell down. Alright, let's inspect the desk. Alright, so there's a button here. Okay, it's not doing anything. We can also inspect this.
I need a key.
Alright, like we read in the brochure, there's a signature Voralberg key right here. that we need to put into the automaton to make it work. So you saw in the top right corner the key showed up. So now it's in our inventory. We click on it and that brings it to this bottom left corner, which shows that like that's in our hand basically, that we're going to use it. And we can put it where we need to use it. Alright, so now it's all wound up. Let's try again. And it works.
Okay, I'm coming.
Alright, so let's talk to this guy.
Hi there.
Hello there, ma'am.
Okay, so let's ask him for some help.
Could you possibly take my luggage up, please?
Please do excuse me, Miss Walker. We have been neglecting our duties. Guests are so rare these days that we forget our manners. So you're the American woman? Is it true what people say? That you've come to buy the factory?
Not factory. Anna's house. Hans' house.
Excuse me?
Would you quiet down, you mischievous little boy? I imagine our little town must disappoint you. You see, today is very sad for us. It's a day of mourning. Today is the funeral of Miss Anna.
Momo's sad, but Hans not dead. Hans long way away. Anna told Momo. Anna liked Momo very much.
That's enough, Momo. Stop pestering the lady. Now go on, scram. Get out of here, you hear?
Oh, and he threw his stuff down.
What was I saying? Oh yes, Miss Anna. Such a great loss for Valadilene, it really is. Because now that she's dead, the factory will close. But you're here to stop that happening, aren't you? Our future is in your hands, Miss Walker.
What? Anna Voralberg is dead?
So Kate is such a prissy woman, she can't carry her suitcase upstairs and has to let this old bow-legged guy who looks like he has trouble walking carry it.
Here's your room. I hope you like it, Miss Walker.
Alright, so we're Kate Walker.
I'll leave you to rest for the time being. You must have a lot of work to do. You know, the takeover of the factory is very good news for us here. It would make us very happy to see life return to our valley. If only you had seen Valadilene before. It was delightful. People came from all over the world to buy Voralberg automatons. Ah, somebody has left you some mail, I see. Remember, if you need anything at all, we're not far away, Miss Walker.
Alright, so we've just learned some information. Let's go read our mail, and that might clear everything up for us. Alright, so here's a fax from Marson and Lermont Associates Law Practice. To Kate, that's us. Our client, the Universal Toy Company, is more than eager to see conclusions from the talks with Voralberg Manufacturing with view to a takeover in the days to come, and we have received notification to this effect. We are counting on your undoubted qualities as a business lawyer to bring negotiations with Madame Anna Voralberg, the current owner, to a close. Allow me to remind you that the Universal Toy Company is a multinational which has a monopoly on the toy market. It is a Class A priority client who is also presenting Madame Voralberg with a golden opportunity to sell her factory. You should remind her of this fact in case she starts having last-minute second thoughts before signing the purchase agreement. I am under no doubt that you will live up to the great expectations I have in you. From Edward Marson. Okay, so we have learned that we are a business lawyer named Kate Walker, and our company, our law practices client, is Universal Toy Company, and they're looking to buy out this automaton company that the city runs on, the Voralberg Manufacturing. And yeah, so that's what we've come here for, to bring negotiations to a close with the two companies, or I guess with Miss Anna Voralberg, I can't pronounce these things. So yeah, we've come to talk to her, but we learned from the innkeeper that she's died, and we saw a funeral procession in the beginning clip. So that's a little bit bad. So let's find out more of what we should do.
I should tell Marson about the death of Miss Voralberg. I hope this isn't going to get too complicated. I can't see myself staying here too long.
Alright, so we have a cell phone. If we press escape, that's our cell phone. And let's call the office and let our boss know that she's dead. So we can't exactly bring negotiations to a close with her.
Marson and Lormont, how can I help you?
Can you put me through to Mr. Marson, please? It's Kate Walker.
Hold the line, please.
Delightful hold music, as every company should have.
Hello, Kate. So tell me, how's the case going?
I've just got to Valadilene, and there's a slight problem, Mr. Marson, I'm afraid. Mrs. Voralberg is dead.
Ah, that's most unfortunate. But I seem to remember we made provisions for just such a sad eventuality, and we know that there was no heir.
Yes, that's right, but...
So where's the problem, Kate? Contact the notary right away. I'll get my secretary to fax you his address and an introduction letter from the firm.
Very good, Mr. Marson.
Right, I gotta go, Kate. Keep me up to date, okay?
I just...
Alright, so we told our boss, and he said we need to talk to the notary. He said he'll fax over a letter to give to him. So let's go down and ask the hotel manager, or the motel manager, the innkeeper, if he got our fax. So like I said, since I've already kind of played this beginning part, I'm not going to bother exploring the things that I didn't notice that we needed. I'm just going to go to the... because I had spent a lot of time like wandering around and running back and forth, and there's a lot of times where she was like, I don't need to go there. So that got old pretty fast. Before we talk to him, let's go check out what that kid was doing in the corner. Let's look at the table. Looks like he was etching some gears into the table. And here we could pick up some of the little gears that he had. Just 2 there. He also dropped a couple on the floor. Let's pick them up. Stick them in your shirt, Kate. That's the best place for them. Alright, now let's go ask the guy if he received a fax for us.
I'm back again.
Miss Walker?
Actually, let's ask him about what that kid was talking about earlier. Or let's ask him about the kid.
Who was the boy who was drawing here earlier? Is he your son?
Heaven forbid, no, not at all. He's not a bad boy, no. Momo is just a little simple, that's all.
What is his connection with Anna Voralberg?
Momo is what you'd call the village idiot, and
Oh.
Anna took him under her wing. He must have reminded her of her younger brother, no doubt. And birds of a feather stick together, don't they?
You're implying that Anna Voralberg was a little bit slow as well?
Heaven forbid, no, not at all. She was a real loner. She kept to herself, that's all.
Alright, let's ask him about what that kid was talking about. He kept mentioning a Hans. Let's ask
The young
about
boy
Hans.
who was here earlier talked about, Hans? Who is Hans?
Momo was talking about Hans Voralberg, Anna's younger brother. But he died a long time ago. Nobody here even met him.
Okay, so that Hans is Anna's younger brother. And if you remember, the little boy said that he's not dead. Anna said he's far away. So that's interesting. Let's ask about the automatons around town.
I just love all these little mechanical robots. I've noticed there are tons of them here in Valadilene.
Be careful what you say. Voralberg automatons are not robots. If you want people to like you here, never ever pronounce the word robot.
Well,
Okay. What is the difference between an automaton and a robot, then?
Well, to tell you the truth, no one really knows.
Alright, and let's ask him about this Anna woman who is dead and the owner of the company.
Did you know Anna Voralberg yourself?
Oh, why, of course I did. I mean, well, not really. She was a very great lady. We loved her very much. May she rest in peace.
Alright, now let's ask him about the fax.
A fax didn't arrive for me, did it?
Maybe. I thought I heard the phone ring.
Do you think you might want to go and check?
Certainly, ma'am. Immediately.
Thank you very much.
And all he had to do was bend down and just look. Alright, so here's our fax. Put it in your shirt along with the gears. Alright, so this is the fax our boss sent over to give to the notary. So this is the notary, Alfolter. As you are no doubt aware, our practice is charged with undertaking negotiations for the takeover of the Voralberg Manufacturing by our client, the Universal Toy Company. It is with great sadness that we learn of the recent death of the manager and owner of the factory, Madame Voralberg, with whom negotiations had started. We are under no doubt that Madame Voralberg left you instructions before her death, enabling the sale to be concluded. We should remind you of the significant boost the arrival of the American multinational would bring to the economy of your region. It is for this reason that I am sure you will give our representative, Miss Kate Walker, a warm welcome. Yours faithfully, Edward Marson.
Thank you.
At your service.
So we got our fax. Now let's ask him about where we can find this guy.
Could you tell me where I can find a notary here in Valadilene by the name of Alfolter?
We only have one notary here, and his house is easy to recognize. You can't miss it.
Alright, well, I guess
I'm gonna go look around Valadilene. See you later.
As you like, miss.
Alright, so let's head out. Alright, so here we are out in the city. It stopped raining. Alright, so we don't really want to go up to that church yet, so let's head into town and look for Mr. Alfolter's house, who the innkeep says is very recognizable. So it's not this one here. It's not that. Let's talk to this guy, see what he has to say.
Good morning. Are you open? Can I buy something from your bakery?
No, afraid not. Not possible. We're closed.
I can wait a while.
You can wait, but we're closed all day. Day of mourning.
I'm sorry. Please accept my condolences.
Don't worry about it. Because of Madame Voralberg's death, all the shops are closed. Mayor's decision. Try tomorrow.
Tomorrow I won't be here. That's a pity.
Alright, so it sounds like the whole town is deserted because it's a day of mourning for the whole city. Okay, that's not the notary's house either. So let's keep going. Alright, so this is the notary's house, and you can recognize it by this little automaton outside his door. But first, let's go look at this newspaper here on the bench to give us some more information about what's going on in this town. Alright, the Valadilene Gazette, Wednesday, April 17th, 2002. Mourning the loss of the Queen of our Hearts. Let us pay homage today to Anna Voralberg, who died peacefully yesterday at the age of 86. The great lady devoted her life to her business and our community. This formidable woman had an extraordinary energy, a force that allowed our automaton technology to develop and to make our valley continually proud. Her vitality was matched by her generosity and goodness, which has marked all of Valadilene's inhabitants. The mayor of our town has declared that today would be a day of collective mourning in honor of Madame Voralberg. Her funeral will take place this morning at 10 a.m. in the parish church, officiated by the town's own priest. So, we saw the funeral procession, so it must be about 10 a.m. right now. Alright, let's read about ecology in the city. The protest group Mountain Peace demonstrated yesterday near the site of the new Espiet Dam. They claim the construction of the dam has damaged the blue warbler's natural habitat. Intervention on the part of the forest ranger was necessary to disperse the demonstrators. Alright, here's an ad. Stiff joints, chronic hangovers, need a spring in your step? Look no further. Dr. Schweitzer's Miracle Elixir. One remedy for 1,000 woes. Alright, and let's read the last editorial. Anna Voralberg's death marks the end of an era in Valadilene. Madame Voralberg was an outstanding woman who presided after Voralberg Manufacturing for more than 50 years. Her death seems to bring further loss in its wake, sounding the death knell of our automaton factory, the economic heart of our town. It is impossible to view her passing without concern for the future of our valley. In the last decade, computers, video games, and electronic robots have become predominant in our consumer society, rendering traditional clockwork mechanisms obsolete. The age of the wind-up toy is over. Such technology cannot compete in the modern economic climate and has fallen by the wayside. It would have been definitively consigned to oblivion if Voralberg Manufacturing had not upheld its renowned savoir-faire, helping Valadilene to remain economically active. However, today the industry has lost its spiritual force and the future looks bleak. Maybe the time has come to celebrate the prospective American takeover of the factory. But what will be the cost to the soul of Valadilene? So they're worried that with the loss of Anna, that it will lose the clockwork culture of the company and will move to more popular electric stuff. Alright, let's go to the notary's house. Okay, so we see this little automaton here.
Oh, this thing's jammed.
Alright, that's jammed. Let's try this. Okay, it moves the head down.
If that's going to work, it looks like something's missing.
So it looked like he can hold something in his hand. Why don't we try giving him the letter that we got for him. And he can read it. There he is inside, peeking out through the eyes of the automaton. And the door opens. Alright, so here we are in the waiting room. Let's check out the desk. So there's an approved stamp that we can't do anything with right now, but that will come in handy later. Let's go knock on the door to his office.
Hello, sir.
Miss Walker, I presume. Have you had a good journey?
Everything went very smoothly. Thank you.
Do take a seat, Miss Walker, please.
Don't mind if I do.
I imagine you are aware of the business that brings me here.
Of course. I was waiting for you.
Okay, so let's start by introducing ourselves better.
I am the legal representative for the Universal Toy Company. I'm responsible for...
So I understood, Miss Walker.
Alright, he gets it. Alright, let's get straight to the point then.
Miss Walker, I am afraid that the sale of the Voralberg factory is not as straightforward as it first seemed.
Oh, great.
Whoa there. Everything was agreed. We'd obtained Anna Voralberg's consent, and her death does absolutely nothing to invalidate that. Now, I have to be back in New York the day after tomorrow, Metro Alphotaire. My client and I are impatient to seal this deal.
I understand only too well, Miss Walker. There is an heir, Miss Walker.
Excuse me?
What?
An heir? But Madame Voralberg never married, as far as I know. And in my last conversation with her, she absolutely never mentioned this detail.
Miss Walker, believe me, I was more surprised than you are. Anna Voralberg sent me a letter 2 days before she died. Understand, Miss Walker, that had I known about this earlier, I would have informed you. I shall read you the document in my possession. I am so very old. It seems that today life is slipping away from me more quickly than I imagined, and I fear that I will not be of this world to sign the takeover contract for my dear factory. So, I must make this confession to you now. My brother, Hans, is still alive. It would not surprise me if you find this difficult to believe, but it is indeed the truth. You must remember his death, his funeral, too. Even though you were very young at the time, it was but a sordid charade dreamt up by our father. To him, the very idea that his only son should wish to leave Valadilene and abandon the family business was unbearable. When Hans left, he preferred to think him dead and make everybody else believe this too. He obliged me to bear this terrible secret as well. I repeat that Hans is still alive, so when I die, it is he who becomes the sole and rightful heir of our factory.
Okay, I see. If Hans Voralberg is not dead after all, then I just have to sign the contracts with him. I suppose you've already contacted him? Where can I reach him?
The second half of the letter informs us that Hans Voralberg is somewhere in Syberia.
Syberia.
I leave the document in your hands to read at your leisure.
So this puts a twist in everything. Alright, I'm not going to read this out loud to you because he just did. It's basically the same thing. Telling us that she has an heir, her younger brother, who
Anna
his
Voralberg
death was
has no
faked.
further information to add?
Unfortunately not, Miss Walker. I have told you as much as I know. The situation in legal terms is now clear. If you want to conclude this sale, you have to find Hans Voralberg. Apparently, there is a body lying in the town cemetery. There also seems to be some ghost wandering around Syberia. It seems you have your work cut out for you. Believe me, Miss Walker, when I say that I am most sorry for this regrettable setback. Most sorry.
Great. What now, then?
Perhaps you will find out more in the Voralberg factory archives. You will find the key in the waiting room. My role in this affair finishes here with the reading of this letter. And now, if you'll excuse me, I must rest. You see, my health is not excellent at the moment, and my doctor forbids me from working for too long.
You too.
I will not detain you for any longer, Miss Walker. Do not forget to close the door as you go out.
Goodbye, sir.
Okay, so we have to find this Hans to sell the company to us, who's the heir of this Voralberg Manufacturing. However, it seems that no one knew he was alive. Alright, so the key to the factory is right here in the coat hanger, which took me a while to find. So there you have it. She fit that whole thing in her shirt. Alright, so let's head on out and go check out the factory. Which is this way. The bakery is still closed. That guy's just hanging out. It's not like he's going to the funeral or anything. He's just hanging there, scratching his belly. Oh, phone call.
Hello?
Kate?
Dan, I'm so pleased to hear your voice.
How are you, honey? Did you have a good journey? Have you settled in?
It was long, tiring, damp especially, but I'm okay. Especially when you...
Everything going as planned?
Yeah, I mean, well, not really. It's not
Not at
exactly what
all.
I thought it would be. You know, everything's so different here.
Actually, while we're on the subject, I managed to free myself up tomorrow lunchtime. I'll come and meet you at the airport.
I hope the flight from Paris won't be delayed. We're expected at the Goldbergs about 8 o'clock. I hope you have the time to take a shower and change, my poor honey bun.
My poor honey bun.
I don't think the Goldbergs tomorrow night is really on.
Don't worry, Kate. You'll be as perfect as ever. Anyway, you never have to wear much to look really great.
Dan,
Okay.
Dan, I'm going to have to extend my stay here. There's 1 or 2 complications. You understand?
Kate, honey, what are you talking about? It's only a measly toy factory.
The sale isn't going through as expected. I've got to stay a bit longer. Dan, you don't mind, do you?
But Kate,
It
Katie,
sounds
you
like
can't
he
do this to me.
minds.
I mean, it's the Goldberg contract. There's millions of dollars on the line here.
I know, I'm sorry. You go ahead. Don't worry about me. I'll get back as soon as I can, I promise. Okay, I've got to go. I'll call you back soon. Love you, honey.
Alright, so that's her boyfriend or husband. He doesn't sound too pleased that she's gonna have to stay longer. Alright, so the door to the factory and the Voralberg house is over here. And here's the gate. So, if we check it out...
That's going to work. Looks like something's missing.
Alright, so the thing that's missing is the key we just got from the coat hanger in the notary's house. Or, yeah, I guess it's his house. Office. Alright, so there it goes. It lowers into his hat. Let's wind him up. And pull the lever. And there it goes, open for us. Alright, let's continue through. We're not trespassing or anything. Alright, so I think we should start to the right. Let's go this direction first. So here's the house. Let's see if we could get in. Hurry up, Kate. She's really slow walking upstairs.
The door's locked, but I've still got to get in there.
Okay. Let's see if we can go around the back. Let's try this way. Alright, so here's the back of the house. Looks like there's a ladder. Let's inspect it.
I need a key.
Alright. So like most things here, we could see that there's a little like cross opening for that key that we saw in our pamphlet. Everything here needs a key. That's their signature. We learned about that in the pamphlet.
The door's locked, but I've still got to get in there.
Alright, let's see what's over here. A maze. Let's check it out. And here's a gardener. Let's talk to her.
Good morning. You've got a magnificent garden here.
She's like, bitch, leave me alone. I'm trying to work.
Oh, please don't talk about it. Since my gardener automaton broke down, there are weeds everywhere. You can't imagine how much work it takes me. I don't know whether I'm coming or going. We're not used to doing without our robot help here in Valadilene. But everybody says that we're going to have to get used to it.
Okay. So it looks like the automatons are just kind of dwindling away. It was once a big part of their city. Here we have a nice statue, but looks like we can't really go anywhere else. Let's try this way. Into the maze. Alright. Onward. Okay, so that door looks closed. Let's check this direction. There's a fountain. And look what's inside the fountain. Conveniently, we have one of those signature keys. Voralberg keys. Alright, let's go see if we could go through that other door. Actually, I'll tell you, we can't. It's locked. I'll show you just to prove it. That's why I haven't showed you all the other doors. Like to all the other houses, they say like no point going over there, the door is locked, or things like that. Alright, let's head this way, back to that ladder, see if the key we found will work on it. Alright. Here we are back at the ladder. Alright, so we could put the key there, so let's go to our inventory, grab that key, stick it in the slot. That's what he said. And it will raise up to that open window up at the top, conveniently. Alright, let's head on up. You know, we're just breaking and entering. Alright, let's take a look over here. Let's check inside this desk here. Alright, we have an ink bottle and a journal. Anna's journal. Alright, so this is a long journal. I'm going to put a link here to skip to the end of it where I'll have a recap at the end, but if you're interested in reading through the whole thing, I'm gonna do it. Alright. May 14th, 1930. Yesterday something terrible happened. I do not know who to turn to, who to talk to, so I have decided to write it down. You, dear diary, are now my confidant and sole guardian of my secret thoughts. Hans lies in the next room, teetering between life and death, and I am terrified. Oh, the injustice of life. First Mama, then Hans. Please, dear Lord, don't take my little brother away as well. Alright, so that looks like that's a picture of Hans, her little brother. May 15th, 1930. Hans made me promise to keep this a secret, but its burden is too heavy. I know I can tell you, though, dear diary. We discovered a cave in the mountains, a marvelous cavern with ancient paintings on the walls. Only prehistoric man could have painted them because there were depictions of mammoths, which are prehistoric creatures as well. That much I know. I hate mammoths now. It's all because of them, and because of that stupid prehistoric children's toy. Why, Hans? Oh, why did you try and take it? And why did I let you climb up there? It's my fault you're in a coma now. Hans, if you die, I do not know how I could ever forgive myself. May 16th, 1930. Hans still has not regained consciousness. Father cannot sleep, and Gertrude cries all day long. Outside the heat is suffocating, but inside the house is icy cold and dismal. I still have hope, though. I know my brother. I know his strength. He will pull through. He never gives in. May 17th, 1930. I cannot think of anything else but Hans. In all my waking and sleeping dreams, I see his fall over and over. I see his head hitting the rock and his oh-so-pale face softening. I have taken refuge in the attic. It is the only place where I find any peace wrapped up in all my memories. May 18th, 1930. 5 days have passed since the accident, and Hans has still not opened his eyes. To see him like this is unbearable. Please, God, protect him. Take my life, not his. May 19th, 1930. I feel so desperate, so alone. I want to snuggle up in Father's arms, but I dare not. He's just so impassive. Oh, Hans, please don't leave me here. May 20th, 1930. It has happened. Hans has come back to life. He opened his eyes and uttered my name. My name! Do you realize? This is the happiest day of my life. I want to take to the streets and sing, to proclaim my joy to the world. Thank you. Oh, thank you, God. May 22nd, 1930. How wonderful, how beautiful life is. Gertrude and I cannot stop breaking into uncontrollable fits of giggles. Hans even wolfed down his meal today. I knew he was tough, my little brother. Even Father smiled at me today when he said good morning. May 25th, 1930. I don't know whether I'm coming or going. I'm totally absorbed in Hans's recovery. I have scarcely 5 minutes to myself to return to my refuge and scribble down these words. May 29th, 1930. It is very curious. Whether Hans is hungry, thirsty, or if he wants something, he cannot stop saying my name. He can't bear it when I leave him, even for an instant. Gertrude thinks that I should move my bed into his room to help him sleep better. I hope that Father will agree. June 2nd, 1930. Today was the first day that Hans has left the house. We went for a short walk in the garden, but Hans is still very weak. The doctor said we should be patient and shouldn't rush him. It's so hard, though. I hope so much that life can return to how it once was. June 20th, 1930. Hans has been out of his coma for a month now. He still doesn't say much and has difficulty moving. He sits motionless for long periods of time, his eyes wide open as though lost in thought. I have often had to call his name several times before he reacts. Then he will smile, and when he does, the moment is magic for me, and I couldn't possibly be happier. June 22nd, 1930. I had to talk to him. The burden was too great. I asked Hans about the accident in the cave to find out what he could remember. He could utter only one word, mammoth, and his eyes glowed so strangely when he said it that he frightened me. September 15th, 1930. I go back to school today, and for the first time in my life I am dreading it. I'm afraid of leaving Hans alone. Despite Gertrude's kindness and attention, I have the impression that Hans is much less nervous when I'm there. October 20th, 1930. While I was doing my homework yesterday evening, Hans crept up on me so quietly that he made me jump. He took a pencil and a blank sheet of paper, and curiously, he started drawing. It is the first time since his accident he's done anything but daydream. October 28th, 1930. Hans scribbles almost obsessively. It's all he will do, all day long. I feel it annoys Father. Nobody else understands, but I can see that Hans is trying to draw mammoths. November 16th, 1930. Today is my birthday, and Gertrude has made me an apple pie, my favorite, but Father has not returned home for lunch, and Hans doesn't want to leave his room. The best present I could ever have is to see Hans back on the way to recovery. December 25th, 1930. Snow is falling. It is so beautiful. January 10th, 1931. The doctor visited to examine Hans. He seems happy that my little brother has fully recovered his faculties. It truly is a miracle. I don't understand why he doesn't talk more, though. Why isn't he livelier like he was before? February 9th, 1931. It is Hans' birthday. Today he is 11 years old. I have the strangest of impressions that actually he has lost 5 years rather than gained 1 more. February 24th, 1931. The doctor has just left. I saw him whispering with Father. Their serious expressions worried me awfully. What could they be hiding from me? I am grown up now. At the age of 15, you can understand everything. I am too scared to ask Father what is happening. March 15th, 1931. I've been thinking, and it seems to me that Hans's attitude isn't normal. The shock of the fall and his coma must have had much more serious effects than we first imagined. Hans, my dear brother, what is happening to you? April 4th, 1931. I have discovered the truth. Hans is stunted physically and mentally. I eavesdropped a conversation between the doctor, Father, and Gertrude. Gertrude buried her tear-filled eyes in her apron, and Father muttered the word retard under his breath. How could he say such a thing? April 13th, 1931. It is Easter, and we're on school holidays. This means I can spend all day with Hans and protect him from Father's permanent dark moods. He cannot accept the fact that Hans, his only son, will stay in this state forever. April 14th, 1931. It is truly difficult to accept, but it is not Hans's fault. Mine maybe, but not Hans's. I don't know how to make Father understand. He seems so full of hatred for him. It is dreadful. I feel so powerless. May 14th, 1931. 1 year. 1 year has gone by, and it feels like an eternity. The situation shows no signs of improvement, neither in terms of Hans's mental health or Father's attitude toward him. May 30th, 1931. Extraordinary. Father has decided to take Hans to Paris for new tests. He says that only in the French capital will he find truly competent doctors. We must make Hans ready for the great expedition. June 6th, 1931. No news from Father and Hans, but I remain hopeful. I'm sure they will take good care of my little brother. July 15th, 1931. They have returned. Hans rushed into my arms and started crying. It took me a long time to calm him down and to get him to sleep. Father is still as taciturn as he was before he left. The doctors have confirmed the diagnosis. Hans will remain physically and mentally impaired. I am stunned. August 28th, 1931. The summer is coming to a close. It has been less stifling than the last. The sun has put color in Hans's cheeks. When I look at him, I have difficulty imagining that he will not change. November 16th, 1931. Father still says nothing and increasingly shuts himself away in his office at the factory. Christmas. Gertrude tells me that love and faith triumph over any science. I lack neither. God be praised. January 12th, 1932. Father took Hans to the factory this morning. Hans was so afraid that I accompanied them. Fortunately, Father said nothing. I fail to understand why he insisted on bringing him there. January 13th, 1932. Father left for the factory with Hans once again this morning. I think he wants to persuade Hans that he could be useful for something. It is his way of resisting fate. February 17th, 1932. For a month now, every morning, Hans has gone to work with Father at the factory. I'm not exactly sure what he does there, but he seems to enjoy it. I feel my brother's behavior has changed considerably. He's much less capricious. April 14th, 1932. I could cry. Hans has made me a present. A small robot mammoth with a trunk that rises and falls. When Father saw it, he nodded his head in satisfaction. May 20th, 1932. Both Gertrude and Father now have their own robot mammoths. Theirs are even more intricate and finely tuned. Little brother is not such a retard after all. October 15th, 1932. Hans's mammoths now walk, raise their trunks, and wag their tails. It's incredible. December 22nd, 1932. I met the head of the factory workshop, Mr. Grips, this morning. He says that for a young lad of 12, Hans is very gifted. It's a shame he only makes elephants. February 11th, 1933. Father and Hans were locked in a long discussion yesterday. Or should I say Hans was locked in one of Father's long monologues, as it is inconceivable that Hans should go to school like other children. Father wants to take him on as a worker at the factory. However, Hans will have to stop making his own little devices. Hans's silence, his half-gaping mouth, and staring eyes finally sent Father off in a rage. February 12th, 1933. I tried to breach the subject with Hans. I suggested he should obey Father. Learning a craft at the factory is his one chance to do something constructive with his life. He is so gifted and takes so much pleasure in making automatons. He did look like he wasn't listening to me, but I know he'll think about what I said. February 20th, 1933. It's not that Hans cannot speak. It's rather that he doesn't want to speak. He uses the least possible words for communication, except with me, but he's still very economical with words. May 15th, 1933. Incredible. Hans was not just satisfied with learning how the assembly line works, instead he has completely redesigned it. Father and Monsieur Grips are taking a serious look at his plans. July 10th, 1933. Father has wanted to talk to me about my future since I passed my exams. He wants to send me to university because he says my intelligence is astounding. My heart was beating so loud. It's true I do love studying, but I couldn't bear to be away from Hans. September 2nd, 1933. What a ghastly summer. I have been permanently torn between my desire to go to university and my refusal to leave my brother. I talked about it with Hans, but he said nothing. That same evening, I found my own little mammoth broken. How sad. October 9th, 1933. Hans had another fit of hysterics at dinner again. Father announced that Hans's new assembly line would soon be finished. However, they have removed the automaton parrots that shout orders, as they were deemed superfluous. Hans was livid. He hurled his soup dish to the ground and stormed off to his bedroom. What will happen between the both of them when I'm not here? October 17th, 1933. Despite my scruples, I'm finally leaving. Hans has not talked to me for a week. Father would not understand if I told him why I wanted to stay. My heart is so heavy. Christmas. It is so strange to be home. I had never left home for such a long time before. Once we were alone, Hans did not stop talking. Words just leaped from his mouth. How we laughed at his excitement. He presented me with a delightful little ballerina to replace the mammoth, he told me. I was so touched that I started crying. Distance has done nothing to harm the strong bond between us. Alright, and 4 years later, September 10th, 1937. It is strange to pick up this diary once more. At first, my impulse was to tear it up, but I resisted and instead succumbed to my second desire, which was to write for a while. I am alone in my attic once more. I have been home for 2 months now, and after a summer spent living with the intense joy of being reunited with my brother, Hans has returned to the factory. Father has aged so, and Gertrude's arthritis causes her terrible pain. September 13th, 1937. All in all, these last 4 years have been kind to Father and Hans. Their relationship is less tense. They still do not exchange much conversation, but they now have a thing in common, the factory. I'm even beginning to feel a bit jealous. Silly, really. September 17th, 1937. Hans hasn't changed. To help Gertrude, he has designed a totally automated kitchen, and Gertrude can't stop moaning at the wooden puppets. Oh, how I adore them. October 9th, 1937. I went to go and see Father and Hans at work. I hadn't been to the factory for ages. It is strange how much it has changed. I was very curious to see them set about their tasks. I like Father's new office very much. Hans has a small workshop on the first floor, crammed with odds and ends, unfinished robots, and designs, exactly as I imagined, in fact. October 15th, 1937. The factory is working very well. Orders for toys keep coming in, spurred on by the run-up to Christmas. When I was at university and I said my name was Voralberg, people would ask me if I had any relation to the Valadilene factory. Now I know the effect that Hans's genius has had on the factory's renown. November 2nd, 1937. To make myself useful, I started helping Father set his papers in order. The most extraordinary thing of all is that for the first time ever, I have the impression that the three of us form a real family. December 8th, 1937. Hans never ceases to surprise me. Between home and the factory, his behavior is so very different. In his workshop, he is serious, concentrated, a proper young man who keeps his eye on everything going on, constantly on the move and in control. One has the impression that each single toy is his very own infant. At home, he turns back into a child once more and is either moody or a happy-go-lucky buffoon. Christmas. The most wonderful Christmas of my whole life. Hans and I couldn't stop giggling like children beneath Father's disapproving glare. I know that he was only pretending, really. Our hearts are so full of hope. January 5th, 1938. Hans has come to see me in my bedroom yesterday evening. I felt terribly awkward, terribly ill at ease. I might have guessed. Hans wants to leave Valadilene, the house and the factory. He wants to go traveling. He doesn't know where to or for how long. That's just like him. I was so shocked that I told him his plans were foolish. He left my room without a word, his head bowed. January 7th, 1938. I thought he wanted to leave because of Father. Not at all. It's because of the mammoths. He wants to go tracking mammoths. I thought he had gotten over his obsession. I know my brother only too well. I wouldn't dream of telling him his quest is useless. It isn't worth it. He will not listen to reason. January 10th, 1938. I was so selfish the other evening. I returned to talk to Hans and ask him gently if he was sure of his decision. I already know what his reply is going to be. Nothing will make him change his mind. January 19th, 1938. Despite my profound sadness and despair, I must help Hans fulfill the destiny he has chosen and announce the news to Father. I fear the worst. January 24th, 1938. The worst was worse than my fears. Father's anger was terrifying. He shut Hans away in his workshop at the factory and has forbidden all visits except from Gertrude, who feeds him. February 1st, 1938. Father has decided that Hans should remain locked up for as long as it takes him to abandon his infantile decision. Gertrude tells me that Hans is very despondent yet highly resolute. The worry is driving me mad. February 6th, 1938. As soon as Gertrude returns from the factory, I hasten to get news of my little brother. He doesn't say anything, he just fiddles with bits and pieces, she replies every day with a sigh. I have tried desperately to reason with Father, but I know I am just wasting my breath. February 9th, 1938. Hans is 18 years old today, and he is all on his own for his birthday. February 20th, 1938. In secret, Gertrude delivered to me a small robot from Hans. It's a robot of us as children. It works with a small cylinder punched with tiny holes. I quivered with emotion as I turned the key. The message it gave was simple. He was telling me that he loved me very, very much. February 21st, 1938. Gertrude gave me a different tiny cylinder for today's toy. Hans is truly incredible. He has found a means of communicating between us and us alone in total secret. February 27th, 1938. My days are spent eagerly awaiting Hans's messages. He has now resolved to run away. He is preparing his escape, as if it was a game. March 6th, 1938. Gertrude has returned and she is beside herself. Hans has disappeared. Father has not even deigned to return to the workshop where he locked up his son, nor find out how he managed to escape. He just gave me a black look as if he knew we were up to something behind his back. March 7th, 1938. It's beginning to dawn on me that Hans is gone. I miss him so much. Lord, please protect my little brother and watch over him for me. March 11th, 1938. With Hans gone, Father now locks himself away night and day at the factory. The house is so gloomy now. March 12th, 1938. This morning I caught Father in the drawing room installing a coffin on a trestle. The sight of it made my blood freeze. What on earth is he up to? My questions meet only with stony silence and a permanent black countenance. March 13th, 1938. Behind closed curtains, the drawing room with the coffin, surrounded by huge candles, has become a veritable funeral chamber. March 14th, 1938. This is ghastly. I have just understood what Father is up to. This morning, the priest came to pray before the coffin, and I finally caught on. Father is in mourning for the death of Hans. Father made the priest believe that his son was dead. How could he do such a thing? March 16th, 1938. In the madness occasioned by his grief, my father grows ever more cold and calculating. He contracted his old friend, Dr. Schmoll, who duly drew up a bona fide death certificate without even seeing the body. I dare not imagine what a yarn he spun. March 17th, 1938. Hans's funeral will be officially held next Sunday. Father strictly forbade me to attend. This sordid masquerade makes me feel ill, but I cannot denounce the subterfuge, or else I will display my father's mental instability to the world. The shame would kill him, that much is certain. March 23rd, 1938. I have to get away, far, far away. April 23rd, 1938. No, I will not leave. I have thought long and hard. My life is here next to my father. He needs me too much now. The factory needs me, because Father is incapable of running it now. Besides, I can only find peace of mind among Hans's robots, and how shall I know when he has sent me new ones if I'm not at home to receive them? No, I shall not leave. My destiny is to remain here and keep watch. Alright, so... Whoa, our face is missing. Alright, so as a recap of that, if you skipped over it, which I don't blame you for, it's really long. So basically what had happened is Anna Voralberg, the one who we knew was the owner of the company, when she was young, her and her brother found a cave with prehistoric mammoth drawings on the cave walls, and they also found an old mammoth toy that Hans tried to climb up and get, and he fell down, basically severely injured himself. He was in a coma for days, and when he came out of the coma, he was physically and mentally disabled. And his father was not pleased. He was pretty upset about it and in denial. And then eventually Hans kind of started to come into his own. Even though he was still disabled, he found a way to really embrace being a part of the factory, and he started really getting good at inventing all these automatons and added to a lot of what the factory is now. And eventually Hans wanted to leave Valadilene just because he wanted to go track mammoths. He had an obsession with mammoths now. I love how we have no face. So he had an obsession with mammoths. He wanted to leave to go track them. And so when he told his father that he wanted to leave, his father basically trapped him in his room, and he wasn't allowed to see anyone or do anything. And then eventually he escaped, and the father was so pissed that he staged Hans's death. Everyone thinks Hans is dead, but Hans has disappeared, and Anna doesn't know where he went, but she does receive correspondence from him. So that basically sums up, I think, pretty much what the journal was about. And that gives us a lot of insight into the history behind this Voralberg factory. So I'm going to end this video here, and in the next video we'll continue exploring inside this Voralberg's house to find out more about them and what's going on. So stay tuned for that video, and thanks so much for watching!